Hi everyone, all CA intermediate students, those who are writing in the month of Jan, Group 2, Strategic Management. Under revision series, I started posting small concepts which I feel you might need an explanation. Uh, so please make sure you watch these and you will have some idea, right? So this material, I made it from your textbook only. Only thing is I put it in order, that's it. Maybe unnecessary information, whatever is there, I just removed and I made these notes. All right. So in fifth chapter, you have a concept called strategic control. I repeat, in fifth chapter, you have a concept called strategic control. So first of all, you have a concept called control. When we talk about control, we basically check the activities that we have performed. Whatever activities, whatever strategies, whatever action plans that we have implemented, we wanted to check and see whether the results are as per the expectations or not. So first of all, what is the control? So this material, if you want, you call us on this number 951333327. So I will be able to give you this. BRICS Academy, Bangalore. So what is the control? Control is basically, it's like whatever activities that I initiated being a company, is it giving results or not? So in control, most important thing is action plans, strategies that were implemented. Did they give results? Are they giving results or not? So basically, what do you do in control? This is a revision. It's not a regular class. I hope you understand, right? What do we do in control? So we check about the events. We check if there are any undesirable tendencies which have taken place. We check whether people are working according to the norms and standards. And we check the progress. So we check the behavior of the events. We check the undesirable tendencies events that are blocking our implementation of strategy. We check whether people are working according to the principles and standards that we have set. Because whenever you start implementing strategy, you would have told people or employees in the organization that this is the standard that you're supposed to follow. If we check the progress, I mean, we expected something to happen after implementing strategies. Is it really happening or not? That is also we have to check. So control is basically to check, examine events, examine tendencies, examine whether people are working according to our expectations or not. That is one thing. Third point, if you see, it is also to ensure whether planned activities, whatever planned activities have given us results or not. So control includes monitoring the activities, correcting deviations, making sure continuously. See, three logical points. In control, we monitor all the activities, whether they are implemented according to pre-established standards or not. We analyze and check if there are any deviations. If there are deviations, what kind of corrective actions we can actually introduce. And we continuously learn from the experience, because when you start checking, you will identify certain mistakes, certain deviations, certain distractions. After identifying deviations, you come to a conclusion: this is what you're not supposed to do, this is what you're supposed to do. That is what exactly you will do, right? Then process of control has following elements. Number one is whether objectives of the business, that means whatever objectives that we have set, are they operationalized. It is about measuring the performance. So measuring the performance, checking the results, checking the deviation, learning from the mistakes, etc., etc. Indirectly speaking, when we talk about control, we actually talk about what we expected, what we received, what were the standards that we set, what are the results that we received. So check the results, compare those results, whether they're according to the standards that you have set or not. And the second important thing is, are there any deviations? If in case there are any deviations, what are the learnings that we can? So Once you find out the deviations while implementing the strategy, you must also find out corrective actions, and making some improvements, introducing some corrective actions, etc., is all about control. So control is about monitoring, control is about correcting the deviations, control is about learning, control is about measuring the performance, control is about comparing the actual results, control is about finding out the deviations and reasons. Control is about whether whatever planned activities that we have actually planned, are they giving us results as we expected or not. That is the point. Yes, boys and girls, clear? So this is about controls. You got my point? I think you got an idea. So control is of different types. It's a revision class, like control is a different. We have got operational control. When we talk about operational control, we normally check day-to-day activities like quality control, plans control, budget control, cost control, production control. In other words, in operational control, you basically check what all day-to-day activities are they being conducted properly or not. Is my point clear? Yes. So it's like some standards plans we must have implemented in day-to-day activities, whether they are properly working or not. This is what. See example here: stock control, production control, quality control, cost control, budget control. So when you start regulating, when you start monitoring, when you start assessing whether day-to-day activities, regular activities that are usually taking place in the company are actually taking place or not. That is operational control. Material also very clear. Only thing is you have to change language a little. That's it. Okay. Next one, we have management control. In every company, you will find some departments. You will find some divisions. You will find departments, divisions, and some managers must have been appointed. When you find when you find departments, when you find divisions, when you find managers, you must have actually given them functions. You must have given them resources. So when you're appointed as a manager for so and so department, you must be assigned some work. You say, boss, this is what you're supposed to do, and this is the task, and these are the resources. So in management control, basically what do we do? Whether the resources that are allocated are actually utilized or not. In other words, effective utilization of the resources. I repeat, effective utilization of the resources in an organization. Effective utilization of resources in an organization, and checking whether resources are obtained or not, whether resources are utilized or not, whether resources that we aimed at using, have they been used or not. That is very important. You got my point? Yes. So you must understand very important thing, whether resources are utilized or not in every tip. That is management control. So control is about checking whether all our activities are happening properly or not. Operational control is about checking, monitoring, assessing day-to-day activities. Management control is about whether departments, whether managers who are given some tasks, are they utilizing the resources properly, efficiently or not. That is one thing, right? Next one. So we have third important control, mostly in your examination. Several times I've seen in the previous model syllabus also, strategic control. So you should be, sometimes you may have a question like, what is control? What are the types of control? Sometimes you might find strategic control question separately. What is strategic control? See the carefully. There are two very important things. Did we implement strategies properly or not? So under strategic control, I'm going to check whether strategies are properly implemented or not. And the next important things, if I had implemented strategies, whether the results are as per the expectations or not. Whether results are as per the expectations or not. So strategic control focuses on two very important things. Did we implement strategies as planned? And did we get the results as expected? Keywords, right? So basically what happens, many a times there will be a gap between what we formulated, what we actually executed could be different. So you have to find those gaps. Understood? Maybe some changes, some strategic changes you may have to bring in because of the changes in environmental factors, etc., etc. The possibilities there. So you need to find out the gaps, you need to find out the adjustments, you need to find out the improvements, etc., etc. Then strategic control has got four types. This is a revision class, okay? So one control is, at the time of formulating strategies, every manager, strategic manager, must have made strategies based on certain assumptions. Like you must have thought climatic conditions are going to be like this, customer taste and preferences are going to be like this, technology is going to be like this. Like this, you must have made certain assumptions. When you had made certain assumptions, there is every possibility that those assumptions might change. I thought that customer taste and preference is going to be like this. I thought technology is going to be like this. I thought climatic conditions are going to be like this. I thought tax system of the government is going to be like this. So you assumed that certain things will remain same and you formulated strategies. So don't you have a common sense to check whether such changes that you assumed constant are changing or not? So at the time of formulating strategy, we must have assumed certain factors remaining constant. Then under premise control, we have to go and check whether those things which I assumed are changing are actually not changing. So premises here means assumptions. Got my point? Very good. Next one's strategic surveillance. When we talk about, most importantly, when you started implementing strategy, if you really want to know whether results are as per the expectations or not, the first important thing that you have to do is you have to gather information. How do you know there are changes in environmental factors? How do you know that there are changes in external factors, internal factors? Do you think that people will call you and tell you that these are the changes? So every manager should learn one very important thing, that he or she has to start gathering or collecting information through different sources. When you start collecting information, when you start gathering information, that is called strategic surveillance. Second point, if you see, you might read magazines, you might attend conferences, you might attend business workshops, etc., etc. That is strategic surveillance. So gathering, collecting information that will help us to understand what changes are happening in the market, because I assume that something is going to go like this, but I have to collect information, no, from different sources. That is strategic surveillance. So under strategic control, premise control is basically checking whether the assumptions that I made at the time of formulating strategy are really changing or not changing. Strategic surveillance is all about whether what are the sources of collecting information if in case there are changes in the environmental factors. Clear? Then we have special. Sometimes your strategies are going to be affected by unexpected events. That unexpected event could be change in government policy all of a sudden. Like nobody thought that there will be a GST tax on popcorns. And recently, finance minister has announced that there's going to be a tax. These are all government policies. You and I can't control them. So who am I to control? Who are you to control? Government has decided, we have to just follow. That is government. Unexpected wars, unexpected climatic conditions, natural calamities. So sometimes you have to keep an eye on unexpected situations that might affect your execution of strategy. That is special alert control. All right. Next one, implementation control. We are still in which control? Strategic control. On the strategic control, there are four things, right? Premise control, strategic surveillance, special alert control, and implementation. Name itself indicates implementation control is basically what? Assessing the need for change. When I implement strategy, I'm implementing, okay, sometimes results might not be as I expected. So there is every possibility I have to focus on bringing some changes. What are the events that have taken place because of which I have to make some changes to my strategy? Is the implementation according to planning or not? So basically here you have got two basic forms. One is monitoring strategic thrust, in the sense key areas you have to find out. There might be some targets and goals, like milestone revision. There might be some targets and goals that you have set, whether you, so you must have assumed that 20% of sales I have to reach. You must have assumed that this I have to achieve in so and so, etc., etc. So did you achieve all these things or not? So under implementation control, you basically check what kind of events are taking place because of which I need to take some steps and actions or improvement. Under that, you have to first check thrust areas, key areas. Second thing is you have to also check whether key milestones, whether sales target of so and so reached or not, revenue target of so and so reached or not, customer satisfaction of so and so reached or not, quality target of so and so reached or not. Unless and until small targets that you have set in the strategy you reached, you cannot reach the bigger vision. That is the point. So question is going to be very simple for your 5 marks, like what is control, what are the types of control? Otherwise, what do you mean by strategic control? What are the types of strategic control? In control, we examine, check whether everything is going properly or not. In operational control, we check day-to-day activities. In management control, we check whether managements, departments, managers are given resources properly or not, have raised resources properly or not, whether those resources are applied, implemented or utilized efficiently or not. So efficient utilization of resources by management is basically management control. Then under strategic control, name itself indicates we want to study whether results are according to our expectation or not. In that, premise control talks about whether the assumptions based on which we formulated strategy are changing or not changing. Then strategic surveillance, what are the sources of collecting information regarding the changes, because changes are going to affect your strategy. And we also have to keep an eye on unexpected situations like climatic conditions, wars, destruction, etc., etc., government policies also, because sometimes unexpected events will definitely have a impact on your strategy. The next important thing is implementation control. In implementation control, we wanted to find out, is there any need to take some actions? Is there any need to take some actions? That's what we're going to study. Under that, key areas we study and milestone reviews we study. This is what control, that's it. I'm telling you, in strategic management, except one or two questions, rest all questions are going to be very direct. Trust me, this is a scoring. And if you have this kind of knowledge also, you will be able to answer all 15 questions MCQs. So make sure you focus on the concept and start writing. So now that you understood what is control, so take a paper and start writing whatever you understood. Otherwise, one more time you read and start it. Refer the textbook. I see a textbook, you can refer and start writing the information. So you write the information what you have understood in your language, then that information you revise before you go for exam. That is going to help you. Every time you can't go to textbook and read, because textbook language is different. So once you read, you have to make rough notes, and these points are supposed to be revised before you go for exam. This will definitely help you. That is the point. Is my point clear? Yes? Have a nice day. Take care. Bye.